Welcome to Ivanoff Retirement Insights with Paul and Travis Ivanoff. The father and son team at Ivanoff Advisors and Ivanoff Wealth Management helps clients grow and protect their wealth. Paul and Travis understand the importance of having tax-advantaged, reliable income in retirement, protecting your assets, and helping you achieve your retirement dreams. Now, Ivanoff Retirement Insights.
Yes, retirement is a journey, and lucky for you, one that you do not have to navigate solo. I'm Casey Vitti, and like you just heard, I'm joined every episode by Paul Ivanoff, insurance agent with Ivanoff Advisors, and Travis Ivanoff, investment advisor representative with Ivanoff Wealth Management. And they are your go-to team for straightforward retirement guidance. So if you've been wondering whether you are on the right track with your own plan, now's a great time to take advantage of their Ivanoff Retirement Roadmap that they are offering our podcast listeners. This is designed to help you understand where you stand and what steps you should take next. So all you got to do is give us a call at 714-553-1490 to schedule some time on the calendar, or you can always head to ivanoffinsights.com to learn more. So guys, let's dive in here. I was watching a video from a financial advisor with Charles Schwab, and he was giving 3 tips for retiring in a volatile market. 1, don't sell in a down market. 2, cut back on spending. 3, maybe even get a part-time job. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that's not exactly the dream scenario most people picture for retirement. Honestly, when I was reading this list, my first thought was, did this advisor really help their client plan in the first place? So I wanted to ask what you think, guys. When you hear advice like that, does it sound more like damage control than actual planning?
Yes, it does. There's no plan at all with that concept, the way I'm looking at it. And usually we spend around 90,000 hours in our working career. And then most people, when they retire, what they end up doing is they really don't have a plan. And planning is much better than guessing. What most people do when they retire is they go to their nearest advisor, they go to the banks, brokerage firms, and they just roll their money over. And for most of them, they end up doing the same thing as if they're accumulating during the accumulation years in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. When really you've got to have a plan for distribution so that your money will last as long as you do.
Yeah, if I heard that advice, I mean, I would not want to retire. Like if those are my options, I'm like, well, I guess I'll just continue to work. But I think the reality is, yeah, sure, don't sell in a down market, but there's a lot more planning to be done where you don't have to worry about cutting down your spending or a part-time job. When we sit with clients and we talk about this at our educational seminars and we talk about this in our appointment process, but we always ask them, what's the number to be you? Like if you sit down and pencil out, all right, this is what I make net, this is what I'm comfortable living off, and we want to get to that number or exceed that number so our clients have the confidence to actually retire. So if we have a good foundation for the planning, a good income plan, well, then the clients will never have to worry about cutting down on spending or considering a part-time job. Our goal is for our clients to enjoy the go-go years, right? You don't want to be pinching pennies when you retire.
Right.
This doesn't sound like a retirement anyone really wants, unless you're forced into it, of course. But what the reality is with proper planning, I guess you can always say don't sell in a down market. But these other 2, cutting back spending, considering a part-time job, I mean, that just sounds like you didn't do enough in the planning process to begin with in order to enjoy the retirement you wanted.
Travis, I absolutely love what you said there. What number does it take to be you? So if you're listening and your retirement plan involves cutting back and maybe even heading back to work, then it might be time for you to get a second opinion. So remember, Paul and Travis are offering their Ivanoff Retirement Roadmap to our podcast listeners. So give us a call. Let's schedule some time on the calendar to get your retirement conversation started. 714-553-1490 is the number to reach us, or online at ivanoffinsights.com. So guys, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, over 10,000 baby boomers turn 65 every single day. And that means they are making decisions now about Medicare and Social Security. This is Jill Schlesinger and Teresa Giarducci on CBS Mornings. Take a listen.
There's been a 13% jump this year in people claiming retirement benefits early, despite permanently reduced payouts. Would that then argue that you should claim Social Security early?
Because not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. Wait for the maximum benefit. Don't haircut yourself now, anticipating it will be cut later.
So many people are basing their decision on when to claim social based on fear. But I wanted to ask you, Paul and Travis, what should that decision really be based on?
Well, Casey, when it comes to Social Security and Medicare, the only thing that's really important is your lifestyle and your health. Nothing else really matters. You don't just start collecting because your neighbors collected early, or some people, there's so many different strategies. There are 567 ways to claim Social Security, and most people don't even really investigate it.
Travis, any thoughts here?
Yeah, I would add a bit onto that. We have different calculators that allows us to figure out, how much money are we leaving on the table? If we pull it at 62, 64, 66, or 67, we have different calculators, and you can kind of look at the math. A lot of times the break even is somewhere around 12, 13 years. And I always add the caveat with my clients, well, you better be a healthy, 80 or 81 if that's your break even number to get everything that was owed to you if you pull it early. And a lot of clients agree with that sentiment. And most of our clients have enough in retirement where Social Security is nice, but it's not doing the majority of the heavy lifting. So what I like to look at when I'm looking at Social Security planning, and again, there's not one strategy that fits all. Mm-hmm. I think you have to look at every single person's individual situation to figure out, hey, should I pull it early? Should I not? Because if you have quite a bit of assets, well, sometimes I like the idea of pulling Social Security early because I know on the other side, if we're putting the money in, we custodian through Charles Schwab, well, that money can be left to your wife or your beneficiaries or your husband versus Social Security. No one else can really take that besides your spouse. So sometimes it makes sense. Hey, why not turn on Social Security? Let the other assets continue to grow. Maybe that'll allow you to build the other side of your portfolio up while leaning on Social Security to do some of the lifting for you in retirement. So it's not as cut and dry as, hey, I'm just going to maximize my benefit till age 70. And what Paul had mentioned earlier, like, look at your health. If you're not a healthy 64 and you're like, I'm going to wait till 70, and that 70, maybe you're not going to make it to 70, or maybe you're going to be a rough 70 where you don't have a lot of energy, you're not living a life. Well, maybe you want to turn on Social Security sooner than that to help enjoy your go-go years and enjoy those times with your kids or your spouse or just yourself, right? So not cut and dry. I wouldn't say maximizing until 70 is always the best fit for that. You have to look at the entire picture and financial landscape of your client and figure out how much money do they have? Do they really need Social Security? And sometimes I'll even use Social Security if a client doesn't need it, but they want to leave money to their kids. I might even use Social Security to fund like a joint life insurance policy to help pass more money to the beneficiaries. So we can get very creative in our planning, but it's really based off your needs, what the rest of your income situation looks like in the retirement picture. So I wouldn't say rule of thumb, wait till 70. We have different calculators to show you the dollars you'll miss out on. And oftentimes it's not that big of a number. And I'd rather see my clients living off it sooner than later. But again, I got to look at each individual's situation, and then we all make that decision, and I show them the math behind the scenes.
Yes, and Casey, also that one of the other strategies that would be beneficial for some people is to actually start early. It's called start, stop, and start again. So we start early, let your other assets grow, and then you stop Social Security later on, maybe 66 or 7, and tap into your assets. And then by the time you're 70, your Social Security would have increased and end up doing much better.
Got it. Well, yeah, definitely not cut and dry. So if you're listening and feeling unsure about when to claim Social Security, Paul and Travis and their team can help you make an informed strategic decision based on your full picture. So all you got to do, give us a call. We'll get you on the calendar for that Ivanoff Retirement Roadmap. 714-553-1490 is how you reach us, or online at ivanoffinsights.com. So, guys, several states are out to reduce speed-related crashes and fatalities. Virginia and Washington State are enacting new laws that require certain convicted reckless drivers to install a governor on their car that's going to block them from going over the speed limit. So I wanted to kind of look at this from a retirement perspective. And while we can physically control our driving speed, many retirement savers feel that they lack that same control when it comes to their portfolio. So Paul, Travis, my question for you guys is, how do you help your clients understand and manage their own risk levels?
Sure. I think the first thing we do in our office when we're getting to know clients is we're going to do a portfolio x-ray and see where the current risk is sitting and if they're aware of the risks they have in their portfolio. And then we're also going to do a risk questionnaire to kind of figure out, hey, does your portfolio and your risk tolerance match up? And it's important to get into those numbers because, like it says in some of the article here, the riskier the investment, the higher the return. But for most clients, do you really need that? So are we really shooting for the stars? Are we trying to get 10%, 15% returns, or is that even necessary in your retirement plan? So understanding where your current portfolio sits, where you sit on the risk tolerance survey. Are you, maybe you think your portfolio is very conservative and we find out it's not, and you take the test and you should be very conservative. So that's the first thing we want to look at risk management, is making sure clients understand where they are and how risk fits into their portfolio.
Paul, what do you think?
Well, I agree with Travis also. And for a lot of our clients, we're finding out that they really don't have to swing for the fences anymore. They don't have to go for those home runs. They've already had a lot of great accumulation years. And the plan now is just to have the distribution model work out for them. They want to earn money, but again, they don't have to make a fortune. They just want to keep what they have and still do well.
Yeah, and then just adding on to what Paul was saying, I bring this up in the seminar as well, and it's the same thing, but just maybe in a different fashion. When we talk to clients and we're sitting in the seminar and we're explaining our process, because a lot of our clients are used to being a little more frugal, not that, that's our goal for them in retirement. We want them to spend what we think they can off the portfolio and find that goal. But if we make you a couple $100,000, it probably won't change your life. But if you lose 15, 20%, oftentimes that'll paralyze a client. And then the retirement they sought after, they're not going to enjoy because they're going to wait for the market to come back up. So understanding risk in your portfolio is so important, right? Make you a couple $100,000, great. Not going to change your life. You're not going to run out and buy a Porsche or something like that or do anything crazy, most likely. But again, if you do not have some defense and you don't have the right risk in your portfolio and you lose that 15 to 20%, all of a sudden your friends are going to ask you to go on that cruise or go to Hawaii, or the grandkids are going to want to go to Legoland or wherever it is. And you're going to think twice about it because you're like, well, I better wait for the market to come back up, because the number one fear usually is I don't want to run out of money before I run out of life. So understanding risk really has to do with the income planning and making sure that you have the right risk tolerance in your portfolio. And like Paul said earlier, if we're clipping around 5-6%, and if that's our goal, of course, it's not guaranteed. That'll probably be enough to suffice in retirement rather than having to swing for the fences if we've done everything correctly.
Absolutely. Well, if you feel like your retirement savings are moving too fast, or maybe they're even moving in the wrong direction, it is definitely time for a check-in. And Paul and Travis and their team at Ivanoff Advisors and Ivanoff Wealth Management can help you understand your risk tolerance and build a plan that's going to keep you on the right road to retirement. Remember that they are offering their Ivanoff Retirement Roadmap to our podcast listeners. So make sure you give us a call. Claim some time on the calendar. 714-553-1490 is the number to reach us. One more time for you. That is 714-553-1490. Or visit us online at ivanoffinsights.com. That is going to do it for us this week on Ivanoff Retirement Insights, and we'll see you next time.
Investment advisory services offered through Ivanoff Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor firm. Registration is not an endorsement by security regulators. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products, including annuities offered through Travis Ivanoff, California CRD number 325275. The firms are separate entities. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company and are not offered by Ivanoff Wealth Management Incorporated. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties. Ivanoff Wealth Management is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Ivanoff Wealth Management is licensed in your state, please call 714-553-1490. Ivanoff Advisors is not affiliated with Ivanoff Wealth Management Incorporated. Advisory services are offered by Travis Ivanoff through Ivanoff Wealth Management. Insurance services are offered by Paul Ivanoff through Ivanoff Advisors. The aforementioned are unaffiliated companies.